Hello, my dudes. In this interview with my friend Lewi, we cover some great stuff about his life building a sick gym with his mates and an incredible brand, what it's like now going on his solo brand and solo personal brand journey, and things that the army taught us because we were both in 1RAR together, and what that has given us in our lives now as creators and solo business owners. If you want to skip to our interview, I'll put this timestamp in the description thingy because I just crack straight into this one. I always regret not recording the start of the interviews where we're just talking shit. So I'm now going to include all that. And if you'd like to watch that, awesome. If not, skip ahead. Without further ado, let's get into it. Yeah, these are Temu drops. They'll probably I reckon $20,
dude,
off Temu, and
elite.
They look mint. If you were to buy actual DJI or Rode ones, they're probably like fucking
dude, that's sick.
$50, $100.
For a plastic tube.
For a bit of plastic and fucking square, and a basically a car sponge. But like for this, I've been trying to work out what do I want my long form to be, and what do I want my video to be? Because like all clients expect some kind of video.
Yeah.
And even though I don't mind doing the think of script, think of shot list, do production kind of advertising or whatever they want it for, content, it's not what lights me up. I love watching it. When I see guys like you do stuff like that, I'm like, fuck, that looks so good. Oh, I love that. But doesn't light me up necessarily making it.
Creating it, yeah.
Whereas I love helping people express and communicate themselves authentically and putting them in a chill environment to be able to do that. And
Yeah.
I need my video to be an extension of my photography because that's what my photography is.
Yeah.
Right.
You can see that in your photography though. Like as soon as I see any of the portraits that you do, it's just like you can see that you're really trying to portray that person's personality, which always makes me like, I don't know, I haven't messaged you, but I was like, I want to message you one time and be like, bro, can I just come and see how you interact with your clients? Because it must be like, I feel like you'd have a really good way of actually drawing someone's personality out of them in a shoot, which is not an easy thing to do.
Well, that's been part of the new point of getting this is I need to record the process because that is part of the selling point. Like, without being a dickhead, the photo shoots are an experience. It's not just a rock up and have a stale photo taken.
Yeah.
We're there to get you out of you, and there's a particular way to do that. And because I know a lot of people, especially when you're not trained in front of the camera, you're like, I don't know how to stand, or I'm just going to be awkward. I'm always awkward. It's like, the reason you're always awkward is probably because the person taking your photo is also awkward or hasn't set an environment to allow you to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And like, that's just what the photo shoot is about. And 100% anyone you want to come along on, definitely come along.
Yeah. And I feel like that's a pretty, I mean, if you push that more, like you said, in like your socials and stuff of being what you do, that's a pretty solid, unique selling point.
Well, it's already had really good feedback from showing those kind of things.
Yeah.
And like, especially with like what I do, I only need like one yes or like a handful of people to see that that's the thing that are the key decision makers on like booking high value clients and that kind of thing. And I'm like, fuck yeah, that just sort of paid for itself and it totally warrants doing all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. But it makes such a difference. Like I even remember, again, I've been to a couple of weddings, filmed a couple of weddings and seen different wedding photographers and stuff work. Some amazing, some I'm like, okay. But then I experienced my wedding photographer last year at my wedding and I was like, whoa, this guy is like next level. Like I've never felt it. I'd never met this dude. Like I met him on like one Zoom call and as soon as like he rocked up to this wedding, it was like we'd been best mates for like the last 5
vibes
minutes.
matter.
I was like, dude, this is hectic. Like, because it just makes you so much more relaxed in front of the camera and you're just not this stiff board that's like feeling awkward. Like there's nothing worse when, I mean, you've probably had it. Like, again, I had a podcast a few years ago where we did, 60, 70 episodes or something. And as soon as like someone came on that was just like a bit, what's the word? How do I say this in a kind way?
Like stiff?
A bit dry.
Dry.
It would just it's that whole analogy of like bleeding a stone. Like it's really hard to get something out of someone, but you have to have that personality that can do that. You know?
I think that's also something that some people fear with my clientele is that like, oh, my area is a dry area because I work in finance or I work in whatever. And like, I think anything can be interesting if you know the right questions to ask.
Yeah.
And I think that's like part of my superpower, or what I like to do is be a, it sounds really stupid to say, but I'm like this is such a thing. Become a good question asker.
Oh, 100%.
Like,
yeah.
And that just comes down to also like being curious. Like I'm a pretty curious person. Like I like to know things. Not that I'm not very smart, but I would like to, oh, so that's how that kind of works. Wow. Like, you know, and there's so many things, and anyone can teach you something. And I think that was a transition for me too. Like when we were younger men in the military and you think you know some shit about some stuff.
Dude. Oh, yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
I know everything. Everyone else is stupid. And I'm cocky as fuck. And then you get a little bit older. I don't know if it's the age thing or you just get chipped down to fucking size. And it's like, oh, no, you don't. You don't know everything. And everyone has something to teach you.
But that is a superpower when you unlock that, though. Like when you unlock that, even if you know things, you choose to just be the student instead of trying to be the teacher. In certain situations, it's a decision that you can make. And like when you learn to be able to just be like, okay, cool, I'm going to hold my tongue here and choose to ask questions and listen, that's when you actually start making leaps and bounds.
Bro, some of these guys I work with, like my clients, like they're fucking elite men and women. And when I like, you can also tell a player, right? They can feel it being done to them, and then they do it to you. And they know the right questions to ask you, because then I feel that like, oh, this is why I do this. Or like, look at this cool little camera. This is how I do this setup. Or like, this is what we're doing, blah, blah, blah. And I can feel it getting done to me. I don't know where I was going with that. But like what it is a Chris Williamson term, reverse charisma, right? When charisma is when you walk in the room and everyone goes, oh, wow, look at that guy. You speak louder, you hold yourself. And like, that's someone that has charisma. Someone that is important or looks important. Reverse charisma is when you can do that to someone else, make them like, oh, he just made me feel like the most important person on the fucking planet for that 5-minute interaction or whatever it is. And the best part about it too is to be able to do it and people don't even know that it's being done to them. And it's like, it's not manipulation or anything. It's like, you have to come from a genuine place. But when people leave that and go, fuck, I just didn't, we can hang out with Luke again anytime he wants.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what I want.
Yeah,
to
100%.
be able to do that.
No, I think that's literally such a powerful business tool, especially if like your business is about relation. And most art at a certain level is about relationships.
Dude, business in general is just, regardless of photography.
Yeah.
You can see, that's also something that has given me a lot of confidence, is that you don't always have to be the best. It helps to be excellent. But if you are good at building relationships, you're probably going to crush everyone.
But I think it's also like, if you're chatting to a high, let's just say, for example, a high profile CEO, right? Like they have to have ideas of what's going on in every different part of their business, right? But they're not experts in every different part of their business, because the reason they're CEO is they're good at finding experts to put in those positions. And you might ask them about something and they might go, oh, I will ask this person because they know more. And it's like straight away, this person's in a higher role, but they're humble enough to be like, I don't know this, but I can find you that information from someone who I know is the best. And that is way better than you trying to like fluff out your ass some answer that is completely wrong or that's just like a bit half baked, you know? So it's having the ability to be humble and be like, hey, I don't know something as well.
I get a little bit of like twisted pleasure out of that, of like when you meet someone and you ask them like a pretty specific question, right? Where I'm like, okay, like, especially if it's something that you know a bit about, I'm like, okay, I'm going to see. And they, instead of just taking I don't really have an opinion on that, or I don't really know, man. Let me find someone that does, or I just saying, I don't know. And they give you some bullshit half-baked response. And you don't call it out. You just go, okay, that's the kind of person you are.
But that's what I mean. It's to some people, it's quite obvious when that's the case. And it's like, that's why you're better off not taking that gamble and just speaking at your ass. You're better off just being honest.
Dude, 100%. It's happened to me a handful of times where, and you, like, where, again, as getting older and learning from my fucking mistakes.
Yeah.
Don't do that anymore. But in previous Luke's life, and you get called out and you're on it, and you're like, okay, all right, this guy knows what he's talking about, or I can't pull the wool over this guy's eyes. Just shut up. But dude, thanks so much. I'm glad we just ripped it straight into it. I'm
Straight
like,
into it.
fuck yeah, because that's actually a big regret of mine. I did a shoot yesterday.
Yeah.
Is this day Saturday? No, on Saturday.
Sunday? Was yesterday Sunday?
I did a shoot on Saturday.
Today's Monday.
And I'm like, I wish we had just pressed record and recorded that conversation.
Always the case.
Before the conversation. So now I'm like, no, we're just going to record everything.
Yeah.
And we're just going to start it raw. Start it fucking hot right there, which I think was a good place to start.
Yeah, 100%.
But what I wanted to start with is that, like,
So prepared, dude. I love it.
we got the questions over here on the lappy.
That's it.
Both of us have
operator.
Both of us have a very different path to becoming creators to normal people. Explain to me what it was like going from army to PT to business owner, and then I guess over that arching thing there, and more so now, becoming a creator.
Ooh. I would say confusing to begin with.
Okay.
No, but only confusing when I reflect on it, because sometimes I sit here and I'm like, how the heck did I actually end up in this position from where I was? And I guess ultimately where I think or why that's happened is, I think maybe, I don't know, I'm a little bit like, what's the word? I don't know. Neural, what's that?
Autistic?
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking for. Whereas, like, I feel like I need constant stimulation in different areas, and things eventually don't become super fulfilling. So I'm always looking for a new or a different path.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's initially why I joined the army. It's the same as everyone who joins the army at some point. It's like, I want adventure and do different things and get tax-free money. That doesn't exist, but all those things, right? But then there's a point of when you're like, okay, I'm either choosing to stay here forever or I'm progressing on to the next thing. And I think for me, it was about, okay, I've built these tools over these years. Now what can I do with those tools? Okay, well, I got pretty fit in the army. I realized I really liked training. I started learning about it, and I was like, cool, that's something I can take to this next spot. Did that, went to PT.
Okay, so that was the transition from army to PT. It's like you realized that, like, not only have I learned about fitness and I love that part of my life, I now want to help other people get that.
Well, I went from grunts to PDI.
Yes.
So that was kind of just like a stepping stone of, like, I'm like, okay, one, I was at a point where I'm like, I can't keep putting packs on my back. Like, I'm sure it happens to a lot of us. And I was like, I need to change. And I was pretty fit at the time. And I was like, this is a logical step. Like, I don't really want to just get out because I don't know what I do. So I tried to at least plan for the future in that way of like, all right, what's the next logical step? Then I went to PT. And, you know, nothing against the PDI trade, but it was not, I didn't love it. But again, it gave me some good core skills where I was like, okay, cool. Well, now I have this knowledge. How can I slowly transition this into maybe a career path?
Enough of doing this for the government. Time to do this for normal people,
Pretty much.
Or the Australian public.
Yeah, pretty much. And then that kind of stemmed into, all right, I'm just going to throw myself into this online coaching thing, see what happens. And then it started to grow, and you go, oh shit, this actually kind of works. And then from there, it's like it's when you see it as kind of like a game. It's like, all right, what's the next level? How do I get to the next level? How do I get to the next level? How do I get to the next level? And I think the key to it is you need to be happy with failing, because it's like, again, I relate back to a video game. It's like most video games, you don't just make it through one level without dying a few times. You have to fail to keep moving forward and keep leveling up. But I think when it comes to business, a lot of people fail and they go, crap, I'll go back to what I used to do. Instead of going, no, that's fine. It just means I can take another step elsewhere and find the way that works next time. And that's probably the transition started with just shifting from not being able to be in the infantry anymore to next logical step. And then I kind of realized this path of like, oh, okay, I like this game. I want to see how far in these levels that I can get continuing on the path of building business and, I guess helping other people as well along the way, because building business is great and it does a lot of things for you, but there's a point where you realize that you actually want to serve others, because that's where the fulfillment comes from.
I like with people like you, and you can tell when you meet them, they love the game. Whereas how you said about some people where they do a business and they get the first failure or they get some failures and they give up, it's because all they wanted or loved was the destination, which is completely fine too, by the way. But the ones that are really successful, they just love the game.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean just necessarily the game of business, but just the game in general. Like the people that are really successful, athletes or really successful musicians or whatever, they just love the game that they are playing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the same. I mean, everyone's heard the saying of like, oh, there's no such thing as overnight successes, because you never see the past 10 years. All you see is the day of success and then a year prior, maybe. But yeah, like you said, it's every single thing, whether it's a sportsman, whether it's a businessman, whether it's whatever. Usually they get there because they could outlast, outwork, and because they loved what they were doing to keep doing that. That doesn't mean it's all going to be great, because there's plenty of times in everything, business, coaching, whatever, where I'm just like, why am I doing this?
I think that's almost like a thing too, that you're on the right path.
Yeah.
Is that when you go, what the fuck am I doing? That means it's good. You're pushing hard enough.
Yeah.
If you're sitting there going too easy, going, this is safe or whatever, it's like you're probably not pushing hard enough, man.
There's a quote that I love, and it's something I always remind myself about, and it's like, the best way to grow is to put yourself in positions you're not qualified for. And it's as simple as like, pretty much, name one thing that you've really started going, I know exactly how to do this and I'm the best at this. Nothing. There's nothing, you know what I mean? So it's like, if you're unqualified in the thing, but you're doing that and you're trying to progress, great, you're in the right spot. Is it going to be easy? No. Are you going to fail? Yes. But there'll be a point of when you are qualified. And then how do you level up? Well, look for the next thing that you're not qualified in and put yourself in that position.
Okay. So was that the transition from online PT and leaving the army and doing that to then what's the next level? Having physical location. Is that where iLift come from?
Well, that was part of it. One of the other owners at the time, Dennis, he had like a vision for, the group strength training stuff. And we kind of had we always wanted to open a gym. But we had this like mixed mash idea of, it was like some retarded like powerlifting, CrossFit, weightlifting hybrid. It was crap. It was retarded. It was a terrible idea.
This sounds like High Rocks. No,
yeah.
Jokes to High Rocks. I just felt half of Australia get triggered as shit through that.
It stands for Hybrid Rockstar. Like, they should already be triggered.
Look, to be fair, I actually really like High Rocks and the kind of training is. Just the name is the gayest fucking thing ever.
It's not the best name.
Once I learned what it stood for, I'm like, just don't ever say
I don't know if they could rebrand though.
It's too late now.
I think it's too late. They got to own it.
Okay, so
they got to make T-shirts. They got to actually. I think the only way they could come back from it is if they just stopped calling it High Rocks and just rebranded as Hybrid Rockstar and just went deep into it. Just cop it. But yeah, so that was, I guess, an idea that we'd been pondering for a while, and we were just like, probably not the best. From one, it's, we always had this thought in business and branding of, zig whenever, like, or zag when everyone's zigging, essentially. And it's like, there's so many gyms out there that do like a lifting class, a high rocks class, a Pilates class, and then they've got weight areas. So it would just be another gym, right? Whereas we're like, okay, what can we do different? And Dennis, obviously having a powerlifting background, had the idea of group strength training. And that was like, okay, next level there. And then I guess where the putting yourself in unqualified positions for myself went was, it shifted from coach, specialist, coaching athletes on the ground, which I still did, and online places. It was more like, all right, I need to put myself in a marketing role. I need to understand marketing and sales, which I had zero idea about, and I need to get good at it quickly. And that's when that developed and that kind of hat came on. So it was shifting from like the technician role of coaching to like a business role.
That was going to be the next question of like, is that when the creators started, or was that was there any inkling of this before somewhere, or like where the fuck did that come from?
So I think that's always been there.
Okay.
Because like growing up, I don't want to talk about this, but hey, we're here. So I grew up in Melbourne, and from like the ages of like 16 to like 20, I used to like produce music and DJ.
Sick.
It's not sick. There's some photos out there that I need deleted from
it's
the
part
internet.
of the journey.
But part of that, what I loved more was actually like sitting and creating music and things like that. So there's always been a creative side. I was just really shit at music. So I was like, I'm not pursuing this. I had the foresight to be like, this ain't going anywhere. And then I would say didn't do anything creative for like years until probably like maybe like a year before I transferred from infantry. I started picking up a camera again, and I was just kind of like filming clips of like me and my mates like downhill mountain biking at like Mount Stewart, and like just doing random outdoorsy stuff and making like little travel vlogs and things like that. And that's kind of where I learned how to edit video. And then from there, that was just like a side hobby that I did for fun. And then when we got into online coaching, it was like, I reckon I posted nearly every day for 2 years.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I remember that.
Yeah.
Actually, yes. I remember going, fuck, this is pretty fucking good coaching content. Like, yeah, I do remember.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there was so much iteration and failure of just like creating on Canva or making reels or doing whatever for like 2 years straight. And that's probably where a lot of that got like polished and honed. But there's always been a creative space. It was just never like directed at anything.
Your journey is actually pretty close to mine. Before I went to the army, it was either go to uni for sound engineering, like producing.
Dude, I did sound engineering for like 6 months at RMIT, and I was like, I hate this.
Well, it looks like I made the right decision. It was either that or go to the army, and like eventually it was like, look, body can only take this while you're young. Go there. Uni won't go anywhere. We can come back to that. And I think one of the reasons I wanted to do that specifically is because, like, yes, I was a half decent musician. Was ever going to make it? Probably not. But I did enjoy the process. And then,
What instrument did you play?
Guitar.
Oh,
Yeah. So like we were, in bands, metal bands in school, and all this kind of stuff. Like it was fucking fun. But through the army, there was always this other little artistic thing as well. Whether it was, I remember making, getting it was cooler. The company's probably dead now. Contour. Do you remember them? So it's like,
were they like a little like POV cam? Or something?
It was kind of like the when GoPro was always the goat, and then there started to be these other competitors sort of come out, and this was like their thing was like really action, but like instead of GoPro being here, it was like on the side of the head, and a lot of people liked that point of view because on the front of your head you'd have MVGs or all this other kind of stuff where you could just mount this on the side of your helmet.
No way. Yeah.
So making these little videos of us training and stuff on exercise, and like I made the pre-deployment little video of all our training and that.
Do you still have that stuff?
I do. Which is the best part too, because like
That's
I look back and I'm like, hey, you were doing this all that time. You just didn't know that eventually maybe this was going to turn into something.
You know what? I like wish I did. I wish I recorded and took way more
Oh,
photos.
bro. But even the small amount.
I too much had that stupid ego of like, only losers post stuff and take photos, and now I have nothing.
My biggest
I have nothing, bro. Because I was just this stupid ego.
Same.
Oh.
The only thing that I didn't have, I made those kind of a little bit of that stuff.
Yeah.
But especially on our deployment, I wish I took more. Like I get goosebumps thinking about it. Like I wish I took more fucking photos. What is really sick is we actually, the public can never see this because there's some fucked up shit in there about how grunts interact with each other.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But,
yeah, that's probably the stuff. I mean, the world probably doesn't need to see that.
No, the world doesn't need to see that stuff. You're better off seeing gory war stuff than this shit. But one of the guys, he did do that. He made a trip film.
That's cool.
And I watch it at least once a year.
That's mad.
Just because it's like the memes are incredible and like seeing all the personalities. But yes, that is one of my biggest regrets is not taking more photos in the army. I'm just like, because you
look back and you're like, dang, I did so much cool shit. And I have nothing and I'm going to forget in 30 years. I'm going to have no idea.
All the cool shit you've done. Also the dudes that you're around, like, when you get out and it's just like civvies, are not the same.
Yeah.
You will never have that relationship you have with the guys that you were in the military with, and there's very few places in civilian world where you can get that. I would say like extreme sports teams would be one where you could build that kind of relationship. Emergency services, you would build those kind of relationships, and then some kind of like other extreme work, whether you're like remote mining or oil rigs or some other high danger kind of work. Besides that, it's just not the same. And I just want those memories of being with those guys. But yeah, it was a big regret not recording on it. I'm glad I have what I do have. So similar journeys. Then when you did discover that you enjoyed doing this and you started making all the stuff for your business, that was really out of necessity, right? Was it also did it also start because you enjoyed it?
Yeah. There was definitely enjoyment there. There's stuff obviously that I don't enjoy, but it's that you're not going to enjoy everything. Like that's just part of it. Like there's things that you just suck eggs and you do, but as long as there's like a solid 60% of enjoyment.
Dude,
there, I think
if it's 51%, that's more than half the time.
I think it's a pretty good percentage. So the creative stuff I love. It's just there's like a few little, but it's also about recognizing the stuff you suck at. That's okay, and being transparent. Like if you do have business partners, being like, hey, I'm not good at this and not good at that, and that's when I started to understand the strengths of actually doing those like personality tests that actually show you your weak points. I think there's a time and place where you're probably not ready for those. Like if you were to get me to do one of those 5-10 years ago, I'd be like, this is wrong. Like I'm all over it. This is stupid. I don't have blind spots. Whereas now it's
I am the ultimate human.
Whereas it's like now I read it, it's like organization skills, and I'm like, yeah, dang, they are really bad. Okay, how do I fix that? Do I delegate it? Do I just create better processes? And you can actually affect those things. So I think that's kind of where, if you don't fully enjoy it, it's understanding the things that you don't enjoy and can you actually make those a little bit better.
On those personality tests too, or knowing your strengths and weaknesses, something I think, and that served me pretty well, is that like people go, oh, these are my weak points, I'm going to fix them. But what you're doing when you do that is you're watering down everything because you're never going to get them really that good. What you're better off doing is lean into your strengths and just crush everyone because you're so good at them. And don't even worry about the peak points because you're so good at this other thing, it doesn't matter. Or you can delegate or have someone else help you with that.
And that was why the first thing I said, can you delegate it? Because it's like 100%. If there's that thing that you're not good at, it's like, cool. The first thing, it's like, do you have the ability to remove that? Because cool, that can free up just, a piece of real estate that can be used for something else. Or then if you can't, well, then it's looking for the other ways to navigate it. So yeah, I think that's 100% lean into the strengths. And that's kind of probably where the biggest change for us business-wise going from an online coaching space to the gyms was with the online stuff, we were all wearing all the hats. When I say hats, for people that are listening, what I mean by that is it's like in a business, you might have like operations, marketing, the technicians on the ground doing the service, the sales, whatever there might be. It's like those are the hats, right? And we were wearing all those hats individually. So it's like we were doing our own marketing, we were doing our own sales, we were doing our own social medias, we were doing our own coaching. And that doesn't leave you much. You kind of have to do it at the start, but eventually you have to shift away from that to grow. You have to either delegate those things to a certain person to do so they can make the maximal, effectiveness of that area, or you have to outsource it. And that was the biggest change. It was like when we shifted into the gyms, yes, I still had to do small parts of coaching and I still have my online clients because they're amazing. But my role became just marketing and sales. Muj, the other guy's role, became operations. And it was much more business than us just trying to do everything.
Your iLift brand, it was a fucking brand. It was so good. Like how you said at the start, like there's all these gyms, right? And they all do the same thing. And not many of them, there's not many in your head you go, like, that is a brand. Like, even though we shit on High Rocks, it has a very strong brand, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a great brand. Your gym had such a cool brand. It was so obvious. It was so obvious that it wasn't for everyone, but the people that vibe with the way that your brand spoke, the way that it looked, the way that it related, the kind of training you did, it was just so on point. And I also feel like it was an extension of yourselves. How did you think of that? Or how did you come up? That was a collaborative. Was it you come up with it? Tell me about it.
No, it was, I would absolutely say it was collaborative, mostly between myself and Dennis, and then Mudge would obviously have his inputs in there as well. But it was no one person saying this is, well, it's a combination of all those things. There was like hard rights and hard lefts on certain things, in terms of like, say, the training modality. But then there was so much discussion around, okay, who is understanding all that fluff that you first learn when you understand like, branding and marketing of like, what are the pain points and what is your archetypes and all those kinds of things. But it was actually setting those and being strict with them instead of like, I feel like at the start of a lot of businesses, you're scared because you want to make sales. So you start to be a little bit like, we're just going to talk to everyone for a little bit because we want to get people through the door. But we had to make a really hard point of like, no, this is who we're talking to, and making it clear, no matter how slowly things grew, that was where we were sticking. And then over time, that obviously evolved and changed as we learnt our core client when they would come through the doors. But to start with, it was really trying to stick to those core principles and core values that we created, to, I guess, like you said, make it feel like a brand, not just make it feel like another gym.
When you did define it, what was your definition? Like, whether it's archetype, whether these are our brand words, what was it? And how would you describe the brand?
So we went through like a whole big branding process, and it probably took a solid, 12 months, I would say, before we fully went firm on things. And that then it changed after the first 12 months of business slightly, not massively. But it definitely came down to, our voice. Like, what's the brand voice going to be like? Like, are we going for, what's the tone that we want to set? And like a big part of our tone was irreverent, like, which essentially just means we want to be a little bit bold, a little bit cheeky, not just be like this. We want to invite everyone. We want to kind of maybe...
A little bit.
Yeah.
It was a lot of it, which was what I love.
Yeah.
Like, it was so, I'll try, and if it's still there, because I know that you're not with the business anymore, but I'll find it and put some stuff of that. There was swearing. The font was fucking in your face, bold, sans serif font. The way that they spoke was like literally the way that we're speaking now.
Yeah.
Not like it was cooked up by some fucking marketing bean counter to please everyone.
No, and that's probably the biggest thing is that you nailed it right there. It's like, don't try and please everyone. You try and please everyone, you hit no one. And it's funny, a lot of these principles we learned from training as well. There's a coach, I learned a lot of, his name's Pat Davidson. And so many people when they train, massive back in the infantry, it's like, I'm just going to do everything every single day and hope I get better. And you get better to a point, and then you stop getting better, and then you get injured. Right? And there's a saying that he uses, and it's like, what would you prefer? Would you prefer to take 10 rocks and try and like throw them and maybe hit 10 birds? You probably won't. Or would you rather just get a big ass rock and just crush one bird? And that's the whole idea of like really just dialing in who that core person is you're talking to, and not try and talk to everyone, because there's a lot of people out there. And I think that's the fear we have when we start businesses and we go, oh, there's only a couple people out there. And it's like, there's so many people out there that if you have a good idea and a good product, they're probably going to come to you eventually. It's just getting past that. There's that whole thing of the early adopters, and then you hit kind of a chasm point where nothing happens, and then the late stage adopters come and your business explodes.
I think you're saying there's a lot of people out there to sell to. So don't be scared. Don't think that there's not. There is. Along with that too is a lot of people sort of create for other people, especially in the creative space, right? Because they think that's what they want. Create what you want.
Yeah.
Where even that as a business, create what you want. Because guess what? There's probably someone else out there like you that wants that.
Yeah.
And then, yes, it just might take a while for them to find you. But when they do, it's so genuine to who you are that they will be like, this is my guy. Yeah. And that's like very much with my work. Like, I know that my style is not for everyone. Good. That means
exactly.
The people that do come to me, I've had a really high hit rate of like, they just do that. What you did to them, do that to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, sick, man. I can do that because I don't know how to do anything else.
And that was like, like we had on our front window when we first opened, it was like, say no to like chicken legs, fat, your ex, thunder thighs, cardio, like burpees, whatever. Like some of it was probably a little bit too far.
I love
but at the same time, it really set the premise of like who we weren't talking to. And that's okay because especially when it comes to a gym and a business where you have a service where there's multiple people mingling together, it's like, remember, you're trying to build a culture of people that do have same ideologies and similar thoughts and similar likes and dislikes. So it's like if you build this thing where there's like 20 people doing the same thing, but they're all kind of in little groups and disagreements on certain things, maybe then your culture is not going to develop as quickly.
Yeah, it would lead to a very disjointed culture. Like just as you say all that out loud, like I never went to your gym, but I could imagine I would meet a lot of people that I like because I like your brand and the way that
were awesome, bro. Like that's probably
everyone there would get along, and like there'd be like with everything, you get a handful of black sheep that maybe filtered through the cracks or just came and had a go. But for the most part, I know that everyone there would have just like clicked.
That's what I miss most about the gym was the people. The people were sick. Like I still chat to a few of them because they're just freaking awesome. But like, yeah, they're just genuine, really cool people who just knew what they wanted, did it. And again, they came for the vibe. Like I'd speak to them like why you came, like the vibes, like just it's like you said, it's speaking to that person. And that kind of gave me that whole understanding of marketing when it comes to like actually nailing that archetype who you're talking to, and don't be afraid to turn people away or scare people off who might not be a right fit just because you want to make an extra $1.
100%. Okay, so we've now left the gym.
Yep.
And I can see you, although you still have your own clients, you're also trying a lot of other stuff and also working on your personal brand. How are you thinking about it? What are you doing? What do you like doing? And how do you see your brand going?
Yeah. Dang, that's a hard question because I'm still figuring that out. At the moment, I definitely am leaning a little bit more into the online space. And that's literally at the moment is just because, one, I realized I do love online coaching and I love the clients that I have. Like that's the first thing. I really enjoy that. And I guess that's the part of my life I'm in at the moment is actually doing something because I enjoy it, at least for this period of time. Obviously, there's a lot going on. Like my wife's we're gonna have a kid and all those kinds of things. So I'm like, I need a bit of stability right now, and I don't want to go so hard into things just at this second. But there'll obviously be a point where I ramp up. And right now, honestly, I'm just learning. I'm just trying to learn as much as I can of like I think one thing that I've really been trying to do is, which I'm going to say I did it in the past, but I think social media has changed a lot in a way that is forcing me to promote more of it. And that's actually just being myself on social media. Whereas if you go back and you scroll through...
Just quickly, that's also why I love your stuff. Is because you can tell it's so fucking genuinely you. And that's why it's good.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Sorry, continue.
No, you're cool. And that's what I'm trying to do, because if you scroll back and like you look at all the other stuff I've done over the years, I don't think it's bad, don't get me wrong, but it's much more when content was about talking about what you know, not who you are. And it's like I could sit there for hours and talk about all the training science and knowledge that I know, but I also now understand it's like that's not going to bring it's not going to bring me people who I want to work with, and it's probably not going to speak to the right audience either. Like it's going to give me a whole bunch of people who maybe want to like learn off me, not necessarily be coached by me because they like me, or we're going to have good interaction or whatever. And that's something I've learned of coaching. It's like all the people that I've gotten the best results, they're all my friends now because we just get along, So I think really at the moment I'm in a stage of learning how to share myself in a way that is relatable to people that also have similar interests, similar likes, similar emotions, whatever that might be. Because again, I've done so long of like sharing, a specific business or knowledge. I kind of feel like I steered away from being able to storytell about myself. So it's just something I'm trying to get into a little bit more, and where that goes, I'm not sure. And alongside of that, I guess looking into other passions of mine, where it comes to like videography and content creation, and just seeing how far that can be pushed. I think in a way, it's like, where's that going to be a few years from now? What's that going to look like a few years from now? Can that be applied to the business that I want to create for myself and create something different?
Before I ask the next a question, I think that's some people lean too heavily into just being an educator, which I think, but I also do think that it's still important.
Yeah.
You
have to have knowledge, absolutely.
Yes, but I don't think it needs to be the only thing, because when you are just an educator, there's a lot of people that know a lot of stuff, right? You become a commodity.
Yeah.
You need the other thing that makes people buy into you, whether that is having your own frameworks that you think about things that are very unique to your own experience, or like you're doing, this is the personality that you get with the knowledge.
Yeah. And I think that's probably, you said frameworks there, kind of, asking the question of like what I'm trying to do at the moment. I think a big thing right now is I know I want to work in the online space. I know it's something around training, obviously, because I have all my clients at the moment and I enjoy that. But it's also something that I've learned and something I really like the idea of. And there's a podcast, again, I can't remember exactly. It's some guy on Diary of a CEO, and he made it's like the quote of, nah, I ain't got it. But it's around
what's the general premise?
The premise is like around, if you just are good at what you do, you give value that it helps people and they enjoy it and they want more of it, well, money's going to follow. So stop worrying about just like growth and money and gains and all this kind of stuff, and just give value. And that's what I'm really trying to do with my clients right now is, cool, I do have all this knowledge. I've created all these things over the years. How can I just package that in value and just give it to my clients and just give it to people? Because that will turn in, I know by doing that, that's going to turn into something, because it is ticking those principles of providing value, helping someone, making them happy, X, Y, and Z. It's like that's only going to compound from there.
100%.
Whereas too many of us go, like you said at the start, we focus on the goal and go, I want to get here. How can I get here faster by just like, I don't know, doing all these cheat codes of just like running bullshit viral
yes,
reels.
There you go, the cheat code, here's the viral thing, blah, blah, blah.
Use these 10 viral hooks to whatever. And it's like, social media ain't that anymore as well.
If that's your sustainment metric, because yes, it can help you get to somewhere, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But having to be on the virality side to sustain yourself is exhausting and doesn't work. Whereas if you are just value and offer so much value that people can't not have you, that's what builds sustainable businesses or products or brands.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's right. You have cool, use these 5 hooks to go viral. Yeah, awesome. You have this reel that is just some bullshit viral hook hack that gets you 10,000 followers. Are they going to buy anything from you?
Oh, dude, that's the other part. Is that sick? You either got a shit ton of views or you got a shit ton of followers. There's so many brands that like it's really strange too, because people can. I know I was like that. They conflate. This person gets lots of views or have lots of followers. They're obviously making lots of money. And then you meet some of these people in real life and they're fucking making nothing. Whereas the other side, the guy, Nick, fucking videographer god, he has such limited, his audience base would probably be about 1,500 or maybe 2,000 across his 2 platforms, minting it. Fucking crushing it. His videos don't get lots of views, But his work is insane. He's a very valuable, extremely talented videographer. And the handful of clients, because he's so niche down, that look at his stuff and they go, brother, do that for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the way the whole social media commodity is going, is it's turning into, it's not about having 1 million followers.
No.
It's about having, 5 to 10,000 really loyal followers. Doesn't even need to be that many.
Bro, it can
say
be
1,000.
small. It can be so small, but especially if you're a high ticket product,
that's
right?
That's where
If
obviously the big thing comes in.
You have 100 subs, right, across whatever platform it is, and 50 of them are die hard.
Yeah.
25 of them buy from you. Those and your product is $10,000 a year. That's $250K.
And I think that's a good point that you bring up, that I think a lot of people should do in their business. Is it's like, all right, where do you want to go? Okay. And what does that look like from a numbers perspective?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what do you actually need to achieve that? Whereas too many people just go, all right, I need followers. And it's like, okay, do you? Do you? Okay, maybe you do if you're selling an item that's $5 a week. Yeah, awesome. Maybe you now...
Sure, you need volume.
You need volume, absolutely. But it's like, okay, well, if you want to get to, let's just say 100K a year, that's your number, and you're selling, I don't know, let's go with two archetypes, right? You've got an online fitness coach who charges $100 a week, and you have a cleaning business who charges, let's say, they make $10,000 a week. It's like the number of the volume numbers between the two are completely different. But at least both of you, if that's what you want to achieve, both of those people can go, all right, I want to get to X number, being 100 grand a year. This is how many clients I need. All of a sudden, you go, oh, I don't actually need 1 million followers.
It makes you also
need to grind all this content that's bullshit.
Yep.
I just need to give value to this many people. And when you have that number of like, oh, I only need a service.
Can I find 10 people?
I only need to
want
service 10 people for the cleaning business. You go, oh, that's actually not that bad. It's not overwhelming anymore. I'm suddenly not paralyzed with like the work that I think I have to do. And same with the fitness coach. You go, okay, cool. Well, if I'm charging $100 a week, that's 10 clients, $1,000 a week, that's 50. So maybe you need 20 clients, 20 clients.
Can I find 20 people to help get fit or need my service? Yes. So the way that you just described that, can I tell you my numbers?
Yeah.
So when I was thinking, can the, even though there's more to what I do, but can the portrait and headshot stuff sustain me as a minimum? If nothing else happens, only that. Okay, sick. Personal brand package is $2,500 dollars. Do I think I can find 100 clients in between Sunshine Coast, Brisbane, and Gold Coast that would want that service? Is there 100 professionals that could use that service and I can help? The answer is obviously yes.
Yeah.
Is there 100 people in Sydney and Melbourne? Answer again, yes. Sick. 100. So that's 300 people a year, even though that would be undoable. Like I could not service that many, but that's $750K. So if I can service fucking 5% of that, we're going to be all right. And then obviously anything on that of whatever your number is, you need to sustain or grow, whatever you want to do, is just cream.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing, is there's so much crap on social media these days of like, do this to X amount of followers, do this. And you just get, it's that whole paralysis via analysis. You just overanalyze it and you're like, oh, I just can't do anything. And it's like, just look at where you want to go. How do you service that? How many people is that? And then just look at it. It's like, oh, how many people are in Brisbane? Like how many hundreds of thousands or millions, whatever it is, 100 people? Are you good at what you do? Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe you could sell that to 20, 30 people? Most of the time, you're probably going to say yes. It's not as bad anymore.
And that's the
and then
other
you just do one person at a time. And then all of a sudden,
That's the other thing that I've learned getting into business. It's like obviously you want to be the best. You want to have a sick product, but it also doesn't matter if no one knows who you are.
Yeah.
So the real goal is, how do I get people to know who I am and want to give me money for what I do? Like that's like people go, oh, follow your passion and do this thing and the money will follow. It's like, if you're exceptional, you're the best, but no one knows who you are, it doesn't matter. So get good or find someone that is good and can help you get people to know who you are and want to, and find out about you and want to give you money, then you'll be successful.
Yeah. Yeah. And don't be an asshole.
Oh, well. With that being said, but look, you know what? Met plenty of assholes, super successful because they were able to show that they were valuable to enough people that wanted their thing, and fucking they made
I say don't be an asshole if you're putting your personality out there. That's probably the
look. I'm gonna put. I agree. Again, plenty of assholes out there that have done really well, because they have just been able to get people to know who they are and want to give them money.
Yeah.
But I agree. True. Just don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the question I wanted to lead into, though, that I wanted to go to, is what do you like? What content have you liked making that you do like and you want to make more of? And what don't you like?
Ooh. Oh, this is easy.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to, again, like I spent 2 years talking about energy system development and biomechanics and physiology and bioenergetics and just all sorts of educational stuff. And again, don't get me wrong, I love it. I still love it, but I just don't want to talk about it on social media anymore. Like, I just don't want to sit there and be like, oh, if you do this, this is what happens at this joint. And it hits these two muscles. And if you overdo them, then this tendon is going to be affected. And then this system down, whatever. Like, shut shut up. I want to be able to take that information, but actually put it out in a way that is relatable, digestible, and gives value to someone. Because yes, maybe that gives value to a coach or someone like that. Maybe most of the time it doesn't, because a lot of coaches have big hubrises and don't really care what anyone else says. But it's like, can I put that into a story and actually make someone go, oh crap, that's me. And then it helps them. That's probably the biggest thing. And that's why a lot of the things I've been posting recently, it's just been me talking about my screw ups of like, yeah, I hurt my back because I did X and because I was an idiot, and I overtrained because I was immature, and like just so people can go like, oh yeah, cool, that's me, or that was me as well, you know, because one, it's far more enjoyable to talk about, and I think it just has the potential to give more value to real people instead of robots.
100%.
So yeah, back to your question. It's like less informational, more personal. Yeah, I guess
personal experience.
Yeah, yeah, and taking that knowledge and that information and making it personal instead of just pretending to be a human textbook.
Because they could discuss. Well, now all the questions that you're answering, if you do the textbook way, just ask AI and it'll give you the same answer.
Exactly.
Probably even more concise because you're not fucking listen to someone fumble along or whatever it is with it.
Yeah, and it's also, don't get me wrong, like I'll have the technical conversations if someone wants to, but I just don't think it needs to be shouted into the ether of social media anymore. You know?
Well, again, depends who your client is. Your clientele, that is not what's going to serve them. If your clientele was other coaches that want to be highly technical and grow their technical knowledge, it'd probably be right on par with who you want to talk to. But it's just, knowing who you want to talk to is a really big question that people need to ask themselves when they're growing their brand. I'd like to finish on, hopefully you thought about them.
I did, I've written them down.
Oh, excellent. Good. Because so did I. On my walk this morning, I was like, I know, because it came to me yesterday. For what I want to talk about is, what are 5 things that the army has taught you that you've brought into training, videography, or life?
Yeah.
And I thought about mine this morning, but we'll go for one for one.
One for one. All right.
Starting with you.
I'm not being rude. Oh, where did I put my phone? I would say this first one is actually. I probably should have looked this up before just to make sure that I was correct. However,
say it with confidence with a microphone and a podcast. It is actual knowledge.
Just don't Google this, right? No, so there's a few, but this is probably an important one, and it comes back to the whole ego conversation that we had earlier. And there's this thing called the Dunning-Kruger effect. And it was something that was introduced to me when I was a PDI by one of the WO PDIs. He was actually a lad. Shout out Matt Ewing. But essentially, again, he just talked about this whole thing of the Dunning-Kruger effect. And essentially what it means is, in layman's terms, is when you first learn something and you go through that period of just learning and understanding, this thing happens in your brain where you're just like, I am the GOAT. I know this thing like the back of my hand. I am freaking awesome at this. And you're telling everyone about this and that. And you're using, technical terminology because you think you sound smart. Most of the time when you're at that point, you suck.
Yeah, that's peak sucking point. You just don't know what you're...
Yeah, that you suck. When you actually get to a point of knowing, that's when you go, oh, I don't actually know much at all.
It's more you realize how much you don't know.
Correct.
Because you could still know a lot, but you also realize that there's so much that I do not know.
And you get to a point where you're actually okay with that. But I think that's something where I now have learnt from the army, because there is so many points in my career where I was at the peak of that Dunning-Kruger effect of like, I am killing it. I am so good at all this stuff. I know it all. You'd have like dudes that are like, sergeants or whoever that are 10 years more experienced than you. You're just like, you're old, bro.
The fuck up.
You don't know. You're old, like whatever. And you're like, I'm killing. And now I'm just like, dang, I was an idiot. So yeah, that's probably that thing. It's like, if there's something that you believe you are like a absolute operator in, just take a step back and be like, just ask yourself the question, like, are you actually? And if you are, maybe you are, but also just flip that coin and be like, cool, what else? What don't I know? And use that to lead you forward. Don't lead with what you know, lead with what you don't know. And then you'll continue to grow.
Heavily relate with that. Heavily. Because I have one that's kind of similar.
Yeah.
But my first one, so this is through training and then also a book that I read while I was in it. It's like, you shoot the enemy until they're dead. And what I mean, like, that sounds kind of silly, but what that means is like, your enemy, you shoot them once, like, yes, I hit them, and they go down, but you don't know if they're dead. They can get up and hit you again. In House to House, which is a book about the Marines taking Fallujah, they had a SOP where even if there was a guy dead and you've seen him get shot and he stopped breathing, you walk in the house, every man that walks in that house, they shoot him too. And what this has to do with what we do now is that, like, do the job properly. Like, it's not done until it's done. It's not dead until it is dead. And like, now, is anyone going to know if this retouching isn't done to the right standard, or like, I'll leave this little bit? I'll know. And it's not done properly. And it could come back and bite me in the ass and kill me, or not done right. So do it until it's dead. Do it right, no matter whether anyone's going to know or not. Because not just for you don't know when it can come back and get you, but also because that's just the right way to do something.
Yeah, 100%. I think, again, it's one of those things that, how much can you reflect on things that you might have like taken shortcuts on in the past?
Oh, even like, that's what I mean. I just don't do it now. Like, I just like, sick. I'm going to re-export this whole fucking lot because I made this one difference.
I think that's a very true point. Like, I look back on a lot of things that I've taken shortcuts on, and no one's perfect. Absolutely, I have. Sure, I probably will again at some point. But it's that reminder of like, okay, what do you want to be known for?
Yeah, what do you want to be known for, and who are you when no one's around? Like, how do you want to know yourself? Like, do you want to know yourself as a dude that takes shortcuts or that just doesn't do things the right way? And if you're okay with that, then like, that's cool for you. But like, for me, I want to know that I've done it the rightest way that I think it can. If it ends up not being right, I've done the best that I can.
That's it. And that's the other thing too. It's like, there's so many, I mean, you can always look back on your work, your old work, whether it's your old photos. For me, it could be like old programs I wrote back in the day. And there's stuff that you look at and you go,
but it didn't know any better. You've grown.
Was the best that you knew at that time.
Yes.
And I think that's super important. Yeah. Yeah.
What's next?
All right. The power of distillment. is the next one.
Break it down, brother.
So, when I went deployed to the Philippines on it was just like a mentor training team, which was essentially just training the Philos in close quarter combat, stuff like that. Mad. We obviously trained heaps in Australia, learnt heaps, we're all over it, whatever. But what I learnt from that experience was the best way to learn is to teach. The best way to learn is to distill. It's like when we came back from that, it's like my brain knew all those things and how to do those things. But the only reason it did is because we spent months teaching those things. And it's not even that it becomes known. It becomes like you could explain it to a toddler known. And that was a big thing that I took when shifting into like the coaching space and online. And that's a huge thing social media gave me. And it's like, that's why all I used to post was knowledge stuff, is because that was how I was learning. I would learn something and straight away I would make a post on it so I can distill that information and it actually sits. Because the big thing distillment gives you, it's like when you're at school, teacher writes something on the board. Maybe they do it differently these days, but
puts it on the iPad.
Yeah. But like you just sit there and you type out or write out word for word what they wrote. It's like, did you really learn that? You only learn that when you take that and you write it in your own words. And that's what social media did for me with coaching, was it took the stuff that I was learning and I would make it into a reel, or I'd make it into a carousel, and I'd put it in my own words in a way that I could teach someone. And that distillment ultimately is something I still do in everything I learn, because it's what I learned in the Philippines that is how I became, or how I got that understanding to a point of where I would be like, yeah, you do know the thing. And that's from distilling it.
I think the distillment is just is a good word to use, but like if you cannot explain something simply to a 5-year-old, you do not know it.
Yeah.
If you have to use complex jargon, really intellectual language, then you need to go back and reassess. And like in some cases, using a very specific intellectual word, maybe it has to be said that way. Whatever, some massive muscle has a big name, cool. You have to use that name to describe it.
Yeah.
But then if you can't get the person to understand what you're actually talking about.
But I can use it in a coaching sense too. And I did this at the start, so I'm not having to go at you new coaches out there, but so many new coaches will roll into the coaching floor and they'll have like Karen, who's first time squatting on a bar, and they'll be like, oh, make sure, your humerus is in this position. And when you squat down, your knees are getting to this point of knee flexion and your hips are vertically translating and all this kind of stuff. And she's just like, what the Whereas like,
put your shoulders here, go down until your legs are parallel. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or it's like, again, I've been coaching for a stupid amount of time now. Yes, I can tell you all the ins and outs of everything, but I'd be like, cool. Do you know how to sit down? Yes, awesome. Just sit down like you would normally, but obviously don't relax in the bottom and then stand back up.
Yep.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's do that again. Awesome. There's a start. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, it doesn't need to be that complex.
Love that. Distillment.
Yeah.
Okay, next. One of the things the army taught me was you can take a fucking lot of pain.
Yeah.
More than you think you can take. When you think you've given 100%, mate, you've got fucking 40, 60, 80% left. Doing def ops where you haven't slept for fucking days, doing pack marches where you're like, I don't know where the end is. I just need to keep going. That kind of mentality, and especially physical abuse.
Yeah.
There's nothing in civilian life that comes close. And like we're talking from like combat roles and infantry in particular, like there's nothing really, even like extreme sports, is going to punish your body like that.
You do a hard session, you're going to go home at the end of the day. Whereas if it's like a def ops situation, it's like, oh, now I got to go back into my pit and it sucks.
Well, go back when you're doing operations, like you're doing exercises like that. Yes, but then it can go back, and then Sarge can make your life suck, and then you can go another. Like it can just continue on.
Yeah.
Whereas outside you're like, sick. I'm gonna have this shit time, and you say shit time. I'm in air conditioning.
Yeah.
Well, at me standing desk that's perfectly ergonomically there with my tunes going on, and I'm just going to do a 12-hour edit session,
Yeah.
it's okay.
It's all right.
Like it's taught me how much punishment I can take, especially going into business. Like physically, I don't think I work very hard, but I've never worked more mentally hard.
100% agree with that.
But I think my military background definitely has helped me with that.
I think so. And I think for me, that kind of leads on to my next one, which is, I know it's spruiked online so much, but I'm going to kind of twist it in a different way because I think there can be a negative side to it. And that is like discipline, but discipline as a lever. And what I mean by that is it's like your lifestyle, okay, maybe that works for someone, but in my experience, living a disciplined life 24/7, 365 is not for most people, right? It's most of us don't want to live that life. Yes, there's some freaks out there that are just, that's just how they are. And we idolize those people and go, yes, and we try to become those people. Some of us, most of the time in my experience, it doesn't really work. It's like you need to know when you need to pull that lever and be disciplined, but you also have to have the ability of going like, cool, I actually need a break. I need to slow down so I can recharge, whatever it might be. Turn that lever off, whether it's for a day or an hour or whatever. But it's being able to actually switch that on and off.
You know, because that actually is a discipline in itself.
Correct.
Knowing when to stop, when your body needs a break or your mind needs a break, to then go hard again.
Yep.
And having the discipline to go, just fucking pump the brakes.
Yep.
This is part of the process or whatever needs to happen to then go. Because some people just have too much of the other discipline. Like, no, I'm just going to grind through it and then actually have diminishing returns.
And that's where it becomes more of like a toxic relationship with you just overworking or overtraining or whatever it is. And then you start actually having negative effects, like you said, hitting that point of diminishing returns. So yeah, that's why I got discipline, but discipline as a lever, not as a life.
Love that. Cool. I really like the mantra, not mantra, but it's like, I think it's a unspoken thing. I don't know if it's actually taught, but like good leaders eat last. So whether you're an officer or you're a section commander or you're in some kind of leadership position, the grunts or the privates, they eat first, then the next up, because they're going to be the ones doing all the work. And good leaders let and facilitate their employees or their troops, and then they can eat. And like literally, like meaning like, cool guys, go to the mess. You guys eat first, and then we'll eat. And like where that translating into what I do, like I want everyone to love working with me in the fact, like in both just the personal side, but like I pay all my contractors or my assistants or whoever first before I go, Luke gets profit. We're at a shoot or whatever. It's like, hey, are you guys all got food? You know, if we're having a break in the day and whatever, then I'll go get my food because it's important to have them crushing it. Because then that'll help me crush it. And then also not just in the way that I operate, but finding out who is good to work with. You can spot a lot of good leaders by like, you see how they interact with their team, how if they, let their team eat first or are sorted, whatever, before they sort themselves. It's giving me a lot of green lights of like, sick, this person is someone I want to fuck with, or like, nah, they need to fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah, massive. I think it's even like a good, like you said, especially, you know, there's a term that one of my friends actually told me, you know, a few months ago, and it's the idea of leadership is lonely. You know, it's like there are times as a leader where one, you have to be the good guy, but also there's times when you have to be the bad guy. But I think all of that is because you're trying to put others first before you. You know what I mean? So I think that's where, you know, the whole eat last is also like, well, you're eating last, but guess what? You're probably not eating with anyone either. You know, but you have to be okay with that because it's like you're doing that for a purpose because that only uplifts them as well. Yeah.
100%.
Next one. Yeah, actually, this is one that it's funny because it's like, I'm sure so many people, if you're ex-military, you can relate to this, still gives me like wild anxiety, and that is timings. Like timings give, like, I am so grateful for having like timings drilled into me, because I think, especially in a business, whether it's like training or I think especially media, it's like speed, especially in sales, marketing, is so important, and timings are so important. And when I say timings, it's not like make sure you're here at this time. And like, yeah, that gives me mad anxiety when the wife's running late and I'm like, we're going to be 1 minute late.
Yeah.
I'm like, this makes me feel like shit. But it's the whole idea of like actually setting a timing and meeting it every single time and treating it as such an importance. Because while, you know, it might seem trivial, it's like when you start letting that one thing slip, then so many other things start to compound and slip. Whereas like if you just can keep to those timings, whether it's, you know, when you say you're going to get something done, you actually get it done. When a client comes to you and goes, hey, I need this by then, cool, no worries, I can get that done, and you actually get it done, because it's like that's the standard that you set. And it's something so simple like meeting a timing, which might not seem important to so many people, but it sets that standard at a level of like, I just think it's super professional. And I think it's something that can also lose you out a lot at the end of the day, being such a trivial thing.
I think on that too is, I agree. And if you can't meet the timing, keeping people updated.
Correct.
Like, you know, I don't know when we're in, like, this is the timing and you're there, but no one else is there or whatever. And you're like, what the fuck's going on? Like, no one likes being in the dark.
Correct.
And like, especially, you know, clients, they just, if something's going to happen, they just want to be given a heads up. They don't want surprises, all of that.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too, as well. It's like what comes with timings too is understanding of like, can you make that? Like, let's say, for example, and not over promising. Yeah. You know, don't over promise, under deliver, like that whole saying, that can come into it as well, of like going like, hey, someone goes, I need it by then. You go, cool, maybe not. I can do it by then. You know, and being like, okay, cool. So knowing what you can do within that. But I think it's that, yes, probably a part of it comes down to sticking with something that you set, you know, so.
100%. So this is what you alluded to it earlier in our conversation, but like the army has a quick way of showing you that you're not fucking special.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, I just think, you know, it's sort of like just a broad term of like, if you are, they can cut you down. You get cut down to size so quick when you think that you're the shit and you want to let everyone know or whatever it is. And like, I think I'm very grateful to be in an environment like that where it's like, if you want to be a dickhead, you can get cut down to size, both on like the receiving end of that and on like, hey, this guy needs to be taken down a notch kind of thing. And what that has done to my personality and what I do now is just like being a real fucking human. Whereas you meet people sometimes where they have that God complex and there's fucking shit to be around. Like, there's no good to be around. And then like with what portraits and my very people-centered business, being someone that people want to be around and people can relate to, and just being a good fucking human, very grateful for that lesson.
I think that's, I mean, it's a blessing in a way, being cut down to size.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I think I would rather...
Sometimes you don't know you're being a dickhead.
Correct. And I think that's something that maybe is lacking a little bit in today's society, because everyone's a little bit scared of treading on people's toes. But it's also like, we choose when we're offended.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
you
like,
choose to be offended.
It's
100%.
It's like your offense is your choice. If someone is coming to you with, you know, yes, there's obviously tactful ways to do things, and there's ways that, you know, you obviously know that person if you're going to talk to them and have a conversation. And it's like, if you're at a point where you can just be harsh, be harsh. But if you're at a point where you can't be a dick, just be tactful. But also, I think if someone's having that conversation with you, being like, hey, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, this isn't very good, whatever it might be, it's like, you choose to be offended in that conversation. You choose how the outcome of that conversation is. That outcome could be like, hey, good points, I'll work on those. Or that outcome will be like, screw you, man, like, I'm better, this and that and that. And it's like, you step back and you look at that conversation and go, which person do you want to be in that situation?
I think offense, part of the reason people take offense to things is because they actually feel and know there's an element of truth.
Oh, 100%.
And that's why they've you're offended or chosen to be offended instead of going, you know what, maybe I am. If you really know yourself and you know that is not the case, then you're like, sick, man, say what the fuck you want, I don't care.
Yeah, it's there's like a saying, I can't remember exactly what it is. It's around like offense being a magnifier of truth. And then there's also like jealousy is a magnifier of want. So it's like if you're jealous of something, half the time it's because you want that. And it's like, cool, don't be upset about that. Be like, hey, now I know what I want. How do I get that thing? So yeah, I think that's a freaking good one, man. Last one?
I think so.
Yeah, my last one is the importance of who you surround yourself with.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, people surround themselves with their own circles, right? But I think, I'm not going to say anything to out people, but if you're in the military, you've probably seen it. Like there's specific groups of people that hang around with specific groups of people. And, if you want to be the guy who, sends it on weekends and drinks beers every night, doesn't look after himself, well, there's a clear group that you can hang out with. There's a clear group that's kind of the middle ground of that and being a professional. And there's also the group of professionals as well. And it's like, from someone who's been on multiple sides of that coin, when you hang around certain groups, you take on those traits.
100%.
So it's like, if you're trying to get to somewhere, the best thing to do is to be the dumbest guy. Find a group of killers and hang out with them, and you'll grow with them. And that's again like a big blessing of meeting my old two business partners, Dennis and Mudge. Like they were both so much better at me and better than me in so many different ways. But I learnt so much, and we all grew together. And just like I was probably better in other ways, they grew from me. And it's like we elevated. And the same with like a lot of the guys I used to train with back at One, so much better than me at everything. But I improved being with them, So I think that's something that I've seen in defense a lot is there are specific groups, and the group you hang out with is essentially the person that you'll become. So choose your group wisely.
I think speaking of the guys I used to train with at One, I think about that regularly of like, I reckon I was pretty fit.
I remember you being pretty fit.
I was the fucking unfittest of the guys that we... Okay, Adam, professional
Adam's
runner, basically. Like, he's just a freak in general. Not even running, just stamina in general.
Just
monster.
Everything.
Hocking and Daiso.
Yeah.
And Scutho.
Yeah.
The strongest brothers on the planet. All these guys that we'd do sessions with, I'm just like, man, you guys just smoke me at fucking everything. But I know I'd be way shitter if I didn't train with you.
Yeah, 100%. Exactly. You could have chosen the other route of the guys who just don't train and sink piss. Yeah. And you'd probably be in a different position right now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All my muscle was pretty muscle. I just like bodybuilding. Like I looked fit and looked jacked.
I always remember you being pretty jacked.
Yeah. But I wasn't fit.
Yeah. I mean, looking fit was half the part.
Yeah, that's it. Right? That's the 3 rules of recon. Always know where you are.
Yeah.
Look cool. If you don't know where you are, at least look cool.
At least look cool.
Same thing with fitness. If you just look really fit, that's half the fucking game.
That's pretty much, if you're wanting to join defense, literally, just be really fit and it'll get you a long way.
100%.
Like, no one cares of like what you can do. They're like, oh, dude ran an 8-minute BFA. Sick. He's a mad dog.
Yeah. Adam still fucking holds the records. I talked to him the other day. I spoke to him the other day, and he is in a training role in Sydney at the moment. And they did a BF. They just did a 2.4. And I'm like, did you smoke everyone?
Is he still a freak?
Yeah. He's like, oh yeah, man. They all ran 9s. I did a 740. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
That's crazy. It does not surprise me.
Yeah, I was like, oh man. Just like he did a park run somewhere while they were going across Australia.
Yeah.
And he's there with his 2 kids in the pram, right? And the park runs 5K, still does it in 19 minutes.
Yeah, he's a freak.
And this guy at the end, he's like, dude, I had to train so hard for this, and you just smoked me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Freak.
I remember we did it was like, what was it? I don't know, some battalion competition or something, and it was like the dog cup section, and like the second stand or something was like a 2.4 into a 3.2, like an SFET, and like Adam comes in, gets like the battalion 2.4 record under fatigue, gets the 3.2 record.
Yeah.
It's like, I hate you, bro.
Yes.
I suck.
Yes.
But literally the only reason I got fit was because I was like, I want to at least try and keep up with that.
Yeah, exactly. It's yeah. So sick. Final one.
Yeah.
My one is to know your craft.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For two reasons. One, you want to know that when you get into a fight, or you get lost, or whatever it is, that you're going to be able to get yourself out, or you're going to be able to be dialed and know your stuff for your own confidence. Also, you don't want to be the dude that lets the team down because you suck, or because you didn't prepare, or because you didn't know your craft. Same with now. I want to, for my own confidence, know that whenever I go to a shoot, I'm going to be able to make some great pictures that people are going to love, no matter what is going on there.
Yeah.
Also, when I'm working with other contractors, I'm not going to be the dude that lets the team down because I wasn't dialed in, my gear wasn't prepped, I didn't know the brief, I didn't know how to shoot or light or do whatever in a certain situation. So I think like just really being a master, or trying as hard as you can to be a master of your craft, is something that definitely the Army taught me.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you'd see it from the people that did that, and you'd see it from the people that don't. And I think that's a very visceral way to learn, of seeing what happens if you're a sack and what happens if you're not. And especially I guess it probably doesn't happen in civilian street. No, it definitely doesn't. But and I don't know if Army's changed, but also if you were a sack back, 10 years ago, you knew you were a sack.
You knew about it.
You knew you were a sack, and you would hear about it every day until you're not a sack.
Well, that is something that I don't like about civilian world. I think in business you do know about it because you probably don't get invited to shoot anymore, or don't get the business anymore.
That's true.
But I know when you're an employee in an organization, so after Army went into mining, you can be the biggest sack you want. They can't fire you. You can just suck, let the team down, all this kind of thing. That is definitely something I don't like in certain... And obviously some businesses are different, but a lot of business culture of no, don't call things out, don't do whatever. I know when I have a team, I will call it out. You don't have to be an asshole about it, but fucking, if someone's letting the team down, they need to know they're letting the team down, and we help them up, we bully them until they decide to get fucking better.
And that's the thing. It's 9 times out of 10, at least in what I've noticed in professional roles, it's so many people just don't even know that they're doing the wrong thing, and they go,
because no one's told them.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because everyone's too scared of offending anyone. It's just have the conversation. Don't be... I mean, obviously, if you've had multiple conversations, maybe it's time to be an asshole.
Yeah.
But to start with, just chat. There's nothing wrong with it. They choose if they get offended. It's on them. But at the end of the day, it's all trying to help each other up.
When you call that out too, on any times I have that, since being out, they go, oh, dude, thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. I've been doing that for so long. No one said anything, so I didn't know. It's you're doing them a favor.
Yeah.
By letting them know that they fucked up.
Yeah, 100%. It's if anything, it's something, again, me and my other two old business partners, we used to get in some pretty heated discussions sometimes and call each other out on a lot of things. And they got pretty brutal at times. I actually remember, this is me being raw in a way, I got called out hard on a bunch of shit. And literally I teared up. I was like, oh my God, I'm letting the team down hard. But the thing that I recognized, it's people that don't care about you aren't even going to have that conversation because they don't care. They don't give a shit. They can be like, whatever, dude. Do what you want. Because someone cares about you, they're willing to have that hard conversation. So, yeah.
Dude, this has been fucking great.
Yeah.
We're going for round 2 because I've enjoyed the fuck out of this.
Yeah, it's mad. Yeah, it's always good.
Thanks so much, brother.
Nah, appreciate it, dude. It's mad.
Sick. dude, fuck, I'm consciously trying to fuck, we got to wind this up because there's so many things you said. I'm just like, oh,
We can just
I
keep
want
going.
to riff that. I want to fucking talk about
We can
that.
just keep going. Oh yeah, I can talk.